The study, introduction. Now in the coming modules, we will be looking at the study. We will discuss the findings of the study. We will look at what the study was focused on and different aspects of how in a multilingual context, how when this issue of choosing languages within education, within the wider language policy, what impact it has on people's lives. And this all takes us back to the issue of bilingualism. How do we need to accept it? When we try to reject it, what are the implications? So we will be looking at, in this study, a comparison between government schools and in private schools in Sindh and in Punjab. And these schools were chosen through snowballing system. And when we look at these schools, it's important to see that this study focuses not just on the processes, that is how the language was learned, but also at the outcome of those languages, that how much of those languages did they learn, which were taught to them during the schools, how were they taught, and then finally what was the impact of that language learning on their lives, which we more often than not somehow try to scale on the children who have graduated from school after 5 years. At least there is a 5-year time lag. We'll talk about it more when we come to the sampling. We discussed it earlier that we are using capability approach to human development to understand issues of inequality, and we are trying to learn the link between languages learned in schools and relative poverty. Let me remind you, relative poverty would mean not absolute poverty, but poverty in relation to others. And as we discussed, when we talk about poverty or inequality with capability approach to development, then we mean this difference between people in terms of functionings and capabilities. Capabilities are the choices that you have. Functionings are your current level of education or where you are at the given point. And it is important over here, and we'll talk about it in the coming modules, that over here we used 9 dimensions of human development, which people value from Al-Khair, and those dimensions were the ones within which we try to see the impact or evaluate the impact as people experiencing it themselves could perceive it. So we will talk more about sampling, we'll talk more about methods that we used for the study, we'll talk about the learning outcomes of that schooling system, and we will nest it all in the given ideologies that were prevalent in the given context. So you can understand why things were happening the way they are. Although this study is easier to understand and relate to because it is in Pakistani context. Now this directly relates to your issues of bilingualism, because now you are looking at Pakistani context, multilingualism, education, and how languages actually work, or how the linguistic hierarchy affects your lives.